Kia ora and welcome to this video update from glorious Whitianga on the Coromandel Peninsula. My name is Len Salt and I'm the chair of our local Residents and Ratepayers Association. I want to talk about water. It's a hot topic at the moment and it means a lot to us because it was the very reason why our organisation was formed 18 months ago. Amongst all the debate on three waters right now, there is really only one critical question that we need to consider. Is this the best decision for the ratepayers of Thames Coromandel, and will it solve our water problems in Whitianga? I see people sharing all kinds of stuff written by people that may be driven by particular agendas, maybe not. Whitianga Residents and Ratepayers Association has been working on this issue, both with council and independently, for a year and a half. The reason that we formed was the 2019-20 drought when we had 7 months of water restrictions. Now we all know that the level and pace of new development, both residential and commercial, going up in Whitianga is unsustainable without adding more water supply. Now, we've had a hard job trying to convince our mayor and our councillors to come up with a long-term solution. However, there's a bit of good news. We've had $150,000 allocated in the LTP budget to investigate an alternative water supply. Whitianga Residents and Ratepayers Association worked with TCD staff and councillors to get it included in the LTP. Remember this point, it's very important. However, there is zero provision for an alternative water supply for Whitianga in the 21-31 long-term plan. Councillors tell us they haven't got the money. And the fact is, they have a valid point. The cost of providing water in Thames Coromandel district is a lot higher than other places which don't have our mountains, our coastline and our small ratepayer base. Three Waters is intended to level the playing field and spread the burden evenly. Other districts have easier access to water, bigger populations and lower costs. In the process of levelling the playing field, our district could end up winning because the crippling costs we face trying to build infrastructure in our difficult environment could be shared amongst other districts who don't have the same challenges. But right now, we seem to have a bunch of folks all getting heated and crying out no to Three Waters. That's okay. Some of the loudest voices, however, are people who don't live in Whitianga and don't necessarily understand our specific water problems. So, what does Three Waters offer that TCDC can't, and why should we look more closely before we say a flat no? One of the strongest arguments we're hearing is that we'll be giving away our assets and getting not much in return, and that's fair enough. But let's take a look at the numbers and remember, every time you see an asset value on the council balance sheet, it comes with another side of the ledger which involves maintenance, depreciation and renewals. So we'll start with that. Our water assets currently have a value of around $116 million. Over the next 30 years, the cost of maintenance and renewals on these assets comes to around $794 million. Our current total debt, which is TC's internal and external debt, is around $152 million. Water-related debt is 89 million of that 152. If we said yes to Three Waters, what would happen in theory is that the government would write off $89 million of water-related debt and put around $19 million of extra cash in our bank account. The new water authority would pick up the tab for all future water infrastructure, development, maintenance, renewals, including, if we're lucky, a new water supply for Whitianga. They would pay for it because they can access funds that our council can't get their hands on. Now, right now in Thames Coromandel, only 40% of our households are on town water, including Whitianga. And we all know how that's working out. The Water Services Bill going through Parliament now will change the ball game dramatically. The costs to provide water, which meets the new standards, will increase significantly. As a ratepayer, guess where that extra money comes from if we say no to Three Waters? All of the financial forecasts that have been done for the LTP are based on the old drinking water standards. The cost involved in the new regulator, the Water Services Bill, are expected to be much higher. If you look at statements by Rob Williams, the Chief Executive of TCDC, and also by Brian Fallow, economist and commentator on Three Waters, they are warning that the status quo will not continue once the Water Services Bill is passed through Parliament and becomes law. So the Three Waters concept of flattening the playing field could have a lot of benefits for us here in Whitianga, because we desperately need water and our cost to get it into your home and mine is significantly higher than many other districts with higher populations and cheap, easy access to water. So is there a downside to signing up with Three Waters? Well, first of all, let's be clear about what could happen. There's every chance that the government might decide to push ahead with Three Waters, even for those councils that say no. If we do sign on, it's proposed that we are part of Entity B and will be one of 22 councils in the new Water Authority. It's proposed that there are 6 seats at the governing table, 3 will be for iwi and the other 3 made up of council representatives. So there is still a huge gap in the information available from the government on this framework, and it's proving to be one of the most contentious issues. We don't know a lot of the information yet. If we are one of the 22 councils, and if there are only 3 seats at the table, how do we make sure we get priority on the work that needs to be done for our area? What if we end up at the bottom of the priority list with no way of getting our voices heard? A bit like what happens with the roads. So we're not saying one way or another whether we should or shouldn't sign up for Three Waters. What we're saying is we need a lot more information, more discussion, more consultation, and we believe the government needs to look at alternatives. We'll be making suggestions directly to them as a local resident and ratepayer group that has a big stake in seeing this work. In the meantime, keep asking the same question that we started with. Is this the best solution for the people of Thames Coromandel? And will it solve our water problems in Whitianga? Thank you.